Let me tell you what I think. When I first got married, I had a gas bill, an electric bill, and a phone bill. 42 years later, I got a gas bill, got an electric bill, got a phone bill, got a cable bill, got an internet bill. Now you even have to bundle. Got a bill for a cell phone. It's just the way life is. If you choose to have cable, you pay for it. If you choose to have a cell phone, you pay for it. Every single community in this country is looking at what to do with trash. Personally, my opinion is that manufacturers should manufacture things and package them up where it's disposable. You know, you buy a box of cereal this big, but the cereal in it's this much. A lot of waste. We need to do something with our trash. I was here fighting for the landfill not to close the airport, because to get rid of the landfill and keep the airport open, because I believed that the economic development we were going to get from an airport was much more than what happened with trash. Because now that it's filled, it's filled. You have to pay to get rid of trash. When people come down to the council chambers and they talk about, and they'll talk to the council about salaries. Well, let's look. New Bedford does this. You know, this is what they're getting in Worcester. This is what they're getting in Seacon. So we can't hire somebody to come in and be the treasurer and pay them a small amount, because they can go to all these other communities and make a lot more money. We say that. When we're talking about trash, we're not looking at what do other communities do. In Dartmouth, they recycle. They pick up their bags every other week. They pick up their recyclables every week. Down in Fort Lauderdale, they have a trash fee. They buy bags. They recycle. And on the last Thursday of the month is when you put out your heavy items. And on a certain day is the day that you put out your waste, your trash clippings or what have you. So the whole system needs to come together. However, the budget was voted on, and voting on the budget included the pay-as-you-throw. So to say that we don't like pay-as-you-throw, I'm not a fan of pay-as-you-throw. I think that there are other options. But I think that at this point in time, all you're doing is looking at everybody being on the same page, buying the bags, keeping that money in there. And if you want to do this, and Councilor Rigo talked about, in the end, the landlord's going to pay. In here, it's those who generate the trash shall pay. That's not my job. That's Kenny Pacheco's job to figure out who that is, because that's the one thing I wanted, that the landlord not be responsible, because quite frankly, I'm tired of being responsible for people. If everybody was responsible for themselves, we'd live in a better world. But you already have this in the budget. You need over $6 million to keep DPW intact, working, doing what they need to do. You're going to have to come up with an enterprise fund, just like you came up with a stormwater fee, because we have to pay for the CSO. We have to get rid of our trash, and you have to pay for it. Right now, there is a committee looking into things, looking into other options and other solutions. That's all well and good. Let that committee look into it. But for right now, you have to continue with the program that you voted for. You voted for the money. And now, well, people don't like it, we're not going to do it. You know, people are poor, they can't afford it. Yeah, I have a tough time affording things too. But I get it, and you make sacrifices, and maybe you don't have steak at night, and maybe we do something else. But you do it. Everybody has their own lives, and they do what they feel they need to do. But as a community, we have a responsibility to get rid of our trash. As councils, we have a responsibility to fund the budget that was voted on. If you want to do this and say, we're going to do this for 1 year, there's no emergency preamble tonight, do this for 1 year and give a year for the committee to look for themselves. But at least vote on this and move. It is not fair to people who are paying for the bags and other people who aren't. If you don't want to pay for the bags, don't pay for them. Privatize. Get a dumpster. You can do that. Nobody's saying you have to do this. But, you know, when you talk about ordinances and how we're gonna do this and how we're gonna do that, every single ordinance is like every other law. There's always a loophole. Nothing is perfect. You do the best that you can. But for me, I say, you put it in the budget, that's what the money's there for. Now you can't renege and say, well, now we don't want to do it. That's not fair. That's not fair to me. So if you want, I'll even opt to putting in a sunset clause that we pass this ordinance for a period of 1 year, allowing the committee to research and come up with whether it's $100 per household, whether it's $50 per house, whatever it is. If that's what we're gonna look at, then look at that. But I get it, that this was all implemented halfway through. This was horribly implemented. We all fought it. Many of us fought it. Others didn't, but many of us here fought it, that it couldn't be done. And the former mayor said he could sign it. He just didn't read the rest of the contract on what else he had to do, because this should have been done August 1st of 2014. With that, I yield, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor.